Hello and welcome back to another behind the scenes YouTube video of mine. You know the drill, you're on my camera, you're on my chest, behind the scenes. Felt the most confident during this shoot I felt probably in a long time, probably since I started my business. And I really wanted to share with you kind of the things that I thought made it special and some of the images that we created together as myself and a couple. The first half of this video, my behind the scenes was not working, so I included some photos here you'll see that show what the first few minutes looked like before we made our way to the Perimeter Institute in beautiful Waterloo Park. You'll notice that I'm looking at these shadows right here, and this is a recurring theme. If you stick around at the end of the video, you'll get to see the success of the shadow shot, and it's something I was really focusing on and really want to get a photo of because I haven't really done a good job of those yet, and I wanted to try it out. So yeah, we'll speed up along here. Finding the good light is not difficult, especially in summer months, especially around sunset hour. Kind of finds you. We were lucky that there weren't a lot of people yet. The animal cages in Waterloo Park are not yet open. There's not a lot of birds. The emus aren't back. The horses aren't back. I don't think the pigs are back. So we had not a lot of people here to Photoshop out. And yeah, just find the good light, put the people in it. It's not difficult. Meredith and Allie were lovely. They were so eager to be photographed in whatever way I saw fit, which I loved. They were just open books, open hearts, so it made it really easy to take their photo. Yes. The entire session today is shot on the 50mm 1.2 RF by Canon. I did switch over to a 35 for I think 1 or 2 photos, just of the ring. And then a super fun Easter egg is I've been shooting a lot with the Fujifilm X100V, and I was able to include that, just a few black and white photos from that, because in a previous video of mine, I talked about using it as like a dedicated black and white photo, kind of like having a film camera. And that's worked really well. I've done that for a couple weddings now. I've done that for a couple engagement shoots, a few commercial shoots. And it's something I thought of in the last video and just kind of sprung to mind, and now I'm just doing it. Now it's just in my bag as a dedicated 28mm black and white camera, and I really like that. I like it a lot. So the beach is new. I like the beach. This is very reminiscent of Sugar Beach in Toronto. They have something very similar with these stationary all-season umbrellas that they kind of put in the earth. And yeah, you can just kind of walk on a beach. I wouldn't go in the water at all. It's not a very pleasant experience. I don't think they dredged it enough. It's still pretty disgusting with all the birds, but you get the illusion of being at the beach, which I thought was lovely and interesting. So yeah, for the most part, this couple was all about moving. I try to keep my couples moving as much as possible. And we did a lot of walking, a lot of talking. So their wedding is at the DTK Chapel this year. Super small, intimate wedding, which I love. And they requested an engagement session. Not something I typically do for smaller packages, but they were all about it. They saw the value in getting to know me, getting to know my style, how I photograph portraits, and yeah, just hanging out. So it was a great excuse. I'm glad they opted for it. Touch each other as much as you want or don't want. It's entirely up to you. Something I've been adopting a lot lately is not using the EVF. I just kind of shoot everything with the back screen. I will still switch back and forth if I need to when it's just too bright and I can't make sure that I'm in focus. When I need to make sure that I'm in focus with my couple. But for the most part, like, just use the back screen. It's just as good. It's the same visual you'd get through the EVF. And I'm able to actually communicate more with my face, and I'm not hiding behind a screen anymore, hiding behind a camera with my entire body. It's more so like an extension of me, which I really enjoy, really like about using the R6. I was drawn to this Canon because it was illuminated like it was some kind of side quest in a video game. And then when we got there, I didn't really see an image that included it, so I just used the sun, had them right on the precipice of the sun and the shade from the trees, and then captured these really fun photos. And this is one instance where I probably should have used the EVF because it was so bright in my eyes I could barely see the screen. But yeah, we made some nice photos here. Really sweet. Waterloo Park is great because it's very expansive, it's very large, a lot of places to walk, a lot of places to hide, a lot of people kind of strewn out throughout it. Everyone's trying to find their own kind of square space to live in. And yeah, it just makes it easy to find a nice quiet spot to take some photos without too many people walking around. And since the renovations in this park, it's only gotten better. There's our long shadows again. I'm determined to get some nice long shadow photos, and we do, and I try again here and it doesn't work. But that's life, you know, you gotta keep trying, you gotta keep pushing forward. Maybe it presents itself, maybe it doesn't. The earlier photos you saw from the beginning of this video are what I would call probably the safe photos, so the ones there where they're looking at the camera, they're a bit more straight up and down, going for a walk, looking at each other, interacting with each other. And then towards the end of the video, we get a bit more experimental, just changing up poses, kind of understanding what works for them, what doesn't work, and then rolling with it, baby. That's all it is. Just see what works, and then repeat, and then build on, and iterate. I don't know, I subscribe to a few different posing apps, like I'm on Unscripted, and that's good for like inspiration for shots, but some of the prompts that they have just don't really make sense for me. It just feels very contrived a little bit. So I'd rather just tell people kind of what I want, as opposed to try and get them to do it naturally, especially if we're in a time crunch. But for the most part, we'll start with something really simple like hold hands, walk that way, smile at each other. And that's something I kind of built my career on, is that prompt right there. Smile, hold hands, walk that way, look at each other into the sunset. And then you get some nice photos from that, and everyone's comfortable, everyone's happy, and then you just keep building and iterating on top of that. So this here is the Grist Mill. It used to be a mill, I guess, for grist. I don't know what grist is, but I'm guessing it's some kind of wheat. And it's a running joke in my relationship with Kelly, where she tries to convince me that she rented it as a place to live. And every time we drive by, she says, "There's my home." And I ask her specifics about plumbing, and she never gives me any specifics. So it's just a stupid joke, but it's gonna be in my head forever. So that's the Grist Mill. I've shot a wedding there once with Taylor Jackson. The couple also had the reception at Taco Farm, so it was super close by. And no more. I don't know if they still do weddings in this space. There's no air conditioning, it gets extremely hot, but it's beautiful. It's on the water. You can't get closer to Waterloo Park than being at the Grist Mill. So this is an example of a sitting shot. I wanted my couple to kind of sit in the shade, see how much of their faces could be obscured, not too much spotty light. It's kind of like a jail bars motif, I guess. I was pure experimental mode here. I wasn't really thinking of making this a safe, like safe, physically it's safe, but a safe image of like something I would definitely use. But I thought we had all the photos we needed. I'm super happy with the gallery as it was. It's time to play. Let's play. So I had them sit down with their faces close together, bodies close together, feet kicked out, and tried to position them to be as much in that bar of shade as possible while highlighting the rest of them. And I thought these looked fine, but I thought for sure these would probably translate better as black and white, a little bit less distracting. And so I reached in my bag and pulled out the, what is it, Fuji X100V, and I used that as the black and white primary camera for this part of the session. And these look good. I think they look fine. They look great. The highlights are a bit distracting. So I thought black and white would make more sense, and they definitely did. So here's what they look like right now. Want to give her a kiss on the top of the head there, Ali? I don't know. You tell me. What do you think looks better? Color, black and white. I also love how much the 28 just kind of makes the space look bigger, a lot wider than it is. Trouble with that is you can really only center frame people with the 28. I find if they're on the corners or you're doing some kind of rule of thirds nonsense, people get warped. So yeah, it makes them look kind of small, but I think it looks good. Again, just pure experimenting. I don't think I would ever shoot a couple like this, but I think it worked for this particular lighting situation, having the kind of beams of light hitting them from the side. Yeah, I thought that was cute. I thought that was a good little sample of experimenting and what didn't work. That beam of light across his head, not bueno, not great. Probably wouldn't deliver that one. I think I did. It's fine. Maybe they like it. I don't love it. Now looking at it again, looks like trash. Again, another safe shot, just have them walk across the bridge towards the sunset. I knew I wanted to finish the session at the Perimeter Institute because I know they get some really nice sunsets just across that pathway that we're going to see soon, but couldn't pass up the opportunity for this bridge. And scooters are back, or scooters are here, I guess. They're a relatively new addition to the area we live in. And as much as I love riding them, I don't enjoy them being in the back of photos. So we had to wait a bit to get these photos for the scooter gangs to roll on by. For the most part, we got like almost no one here. Very few people showed up today to the park, even though it was one of the most beautiful nights in May. So very happy with this. I think this is a new bridge. It looks new. I don't remember it being here before the renovations of this park, so big fan. Great leading lines, great framing of the buildings behind them. And then you got the old Perimeter Institute there reflecting some light, so no complaints. Great photos. He said about his own work. So all the while this is happening, I remember thinking about these long shadows and wanting to make sure we didn't miss the opportunity to get some shadow shots. What is a shadow shot? I don't really know. I knew after the fact, but I also knew it was something I was thinking about the entire time. So not to give too much away, but you will see some of my favorite photos I've taken this year, probably in the last 4 years. I don't know, I started out in photography being a lot more creative. I think as you get older and you learn more, you kind of learn what works really well. You just kind of repeat, you wash and repeat. And then I think for this night in particular, they were so open to it. I just felt like I was in a different headspace. And so I was able to experiment more, and it made me feel like it was 2015 again, where I was just kind of getting a variety of things that I wouldn't normally do. And I didn't have this mental block in my head about what I should be doing. I just had more of a feeling to it. And I know that sounds very artistic and pretentious maybe, but it opened me up in a way that I haven't felt in a while. So that's why we're making this video, man. Jose's here. That's why we're making this video, is to share my thoughts and feelings on that. So this was really interesting. I've never seen them do a display here before. Maybe they have, but it was kind of static. And it included shots, I think, from the James Webb Telescope, maybe the Hubble, but this kind of, this incubator for stars in the middle got me opened up to an idea of having them kind of positioned right in front of it, using that as the center frame, and then using my iPhone to do some prisming effect, have it kind of wrap around them, so it was like they were inside of this birthing center for stars. And yeah, it's one of my favorite photos. It's on my masthead for my website. That's how much I like this photo. It's very unique. Sure, you could recreate it in Photoshop a lot cleaner, but just knowing I was able to do it in camera and getting that slight reflection underneath their necks with the reflection of the top of it. Ah, man, so happy with that. I hope they were too. I think they like that photo. Of all the photos that they get, I hope they print this one, selfishly. Yeah, that's the best one, for sure. The last one there. Man. So fun, so cool. And we weren't kicked out. Usually we get kicked out of this space. Usually security comes out and says, this is private property, you can't be here. But today, they didn't seem to care. Maybe they were all busy. Maybe there was something happening on the other side of the building. But yeah, 10 out of 10, we kept doing it. A few more safe head-to-toe shots, walking shots. And they're safe for a reason. People look great in them when they're smiling at each other. They're not thinking about being photographed. They're just kind of going for a walk, as they usually do. So once I saw this wall, I knew that we would have some really nice long shadows, and I thought, this is the spot. This is the place to do it. So we do it. Yeah, this is one of my favorite photos I've created, I think, in a long time. The difficult part was trying to get myself out of the shadow frame, because I was kind of standing directly in front of the sun, between the sun and the couple, which was a necessity to get this photo. Come on, ambulance. Come on.
Just angle in towards, actually, a tiny bit apart is perfect.
So yeah, trying to position myself outside of the frame was difficult. But yeah, I love this photo so much. I think it's so cute. It's such a delight. I'm so happy with it. It reminds me of Peter Pan. When the shadow would play games with him, he would interact differently than what was happening to his body. I don't know. I had to Photoshop myself out of the beam here as well, because I was definitely in the frame, but I don't think you noticed as much. I think it worked really well. I was happy enough with the photos we captured in camera to show my couple, and they were pretty stoked. And yeah, they were a delight to work with. I really enjoyed photographing them. They told me they were so excited to print some of their photos, which is fantastic. I think if you can print your photos, especially from engagement sessions, why not? That was the day. that was it.
That was
Let's get Jose in here. So I know we took a couple days off there. Allergies were a problem for me. Recording on camera when I can't breathe, not bueno. And also just wedding season kicked off. So I'll be back to doing weekly videos. I thought this was a good way to jump back in with BTS of an engaged session that I loved shooting. Jose is here. He wants you to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.